Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whoever is watching our vlog today, video blog or podcast or recorded webinar, whatever you want to call it. Today's topic is based on the back of a lot of noise recently around the COP26 conference in Glasgow this year. And SAGE, along with ACCA and ICC, are championing the role of small medium business sector in climate action and the race to net zero. So the figures that have, obviously, been taken from the report that SAGE have produced with ACCA and ICC, the report's called Think Small First, is that they believe it's in everyone's interest to facilitate effective reporting on climate and other sustainability related data produced by SMBs. This data is increasingly tied to financial activity, and the main reporting frameworks are following financial reporting principles in the accountancy profession. We feel that the profession is in a prime position to make a difference here, to galvanise and support the SMB community on the journey to net zero. So the collaboration between SAGE, ICC and ACCA has went and undertaken some research and convened experts, industry bodies and the SMBs to understand what's needed to deliver useful data and more importantly, maximise the potential of the small medium business sector to make a positive impact. So some of the high level numbers, in terms of what the UK is gunning for is a 78% reduction in carbon emissions by 2030. And 90% of businesses within the UK are SMBs, and 4 out of 5 of those SMBs are making climate conscious decisions as things stand. So there's a huge topic right now. So, discussing, there are 4 pillars or recommendations that came out of the report that allow SMBs and financial functions to play their part, to standardise and be consistent with what information data is delivered, to simplify data and processes, to produce automation tools and invest in digital infrastructure, and to enable SMEs and the larger supply chain. And today we're going to look purely at financial rules and automated tools that will aid helping small, medium-sized businesses contribute further to climate action and the creation of greener office and a paperless environment. So who are we and why are we in a position to deliver this presentation today? What expertise are we bringing to the table? Why should you listen to us? So, I am Jonny Crawford, Head of Sales here at Acorn IT. I have a broad-ranging background in delivering software solutions into many industries, be it infrastructure software, design, manufacturing software, and right now at the moment I'm representing Acorn IT in delivering financial management and business management solutions to the small, medium business segment to sort of help those companies embrace your journey within going into the digital future or digital present as we are now. So I'm joined today by one of our key partners from Draycir, Elyshia. Do you want to give yourself a little introduction?
Sure, thanks, Jonny. Yes, as Jonny said, I'm Elyshia Mansfield and I'm one of the partner managers here at Draycir. I work closely with a large number of business partners, one of which being Acorn IT, and we're working closely with Jonny in providing solutions to his customers in automating and improving and streamlining their processes.
Thanks very much, Elyshia. So just to give you an idea who Acorn IT are, we've been delivering business management solutions, including your accountancy packages, CRM and ERP solutions, manufacturing solutions into the SMB sector. Going on 20 years now, we've expanded our presence out to now 3 locations throughout Ireland. We produce our own bespoke developments for SAGE, as well as exclusively partnering with the wider SAGE ISV network to enhance your SAGE install and your Sage environment. We've over 400 implementations, over 350 recurring customers, and we'll have a proven methodology to empower your business to grow and scale, and embrace the digital environment. And we're very much at the forefront now of Sage's Business Cloud offering, which was just connecting up the full supply chain right across banks, suppliers, utilities, your end user customers, and your own internal staff, front and back office. Do you want to give us a wee bit of an overview about Draycir, Elyshia?
Yeah, of course. So we are a Sage accredited ISV. We're based in the UK with our head office in the Midlands. We are also entering our 20th year in the industry now. Of course, our main focus is, creating innovative software to help support you across a multitude of verticals, ensuring that people are managing their processes, saving time and money, which have in turn also helps create a more efficient workforce throughout the organisation. We're here, we've got lots of different solutions for different problem areas, everything from paper management, down to how we're creating deliveries and saving time.
That's great, Elyshia, thanks. And it's funny, Draycir are 20 this year, Acorn are 20 this year, Sage are 40 this year, so it's all the
big ones.
It's all the big numbers. I think there's celebration in order. But for those of you that don't know Sage, they're a global FTSE 250 software company. They're arguably top 3 in terms of ERP solutions in the world. They are without doubt probably the largest accountancy software company in the world. It's a real pleasure to be able to say that we are exclusively partnered with Sage. And who provides solutions to manage all aspects of your business, from finance and people to sales and distribution. They're thought leader within business cloud solutions. They have developed an impressive Sage Business Cloud portfolio of products, which is taken away sort of from focusing on SaaS and a SaaS environment to focusing on a digital environment, and they're transforming SMEs on their digital journey through the Sage Business Cloud offering and portfolio of products. Also transforming lives through the Sage Foundation projects, helping local communities and global causes. And we're supported by over 13,500 employees, 23 different countries, 3 million customers, and a range of ISVs on the marketplace. And that's enough on Sage. So we'll jump in now in terms of the first key topic. So when we'll talk about paperless environments and the green office and the drive towards net zero, we're thinking about here, how to achieve that. How are we providing paperless environments in the green office? Elyshia, what is your viewpoint on this? How do we help companies achieve this at the moment?
Yes, great question and great point, Jonny. We see a lot all that's been in the media this year, opposed from other than COVID-19, of course, has been the COP26 focus and the movement towards the making a difference to the climate and the where we're living. So we're all about providing the paperless environments, and we do so in a range of ways. At the moment, people are printing documents off that they're receiving via email, which is crazy. We've already got it in a really neat fashion. It's on the PC. We need to action it from there. Then they print it off. It gets lost. You misplace it. You end up with tea stains on it. You're having to reprint it. And actually, to get, just to dispose of one piece of paper, the amount of energy that requires is horrendous. And actually, we could streamline the processes so easily and actually make everyone's life easier. By keeping everything in a centralised, safe location, you can view these documents back later really easily. But I think what's happened over the years is actually when things first started making this digital change, a lot of organisations right from the outset tried to take that first step. People weren't quite ready for it then. But the good news is the software has come on so far, and certainly the Draycir offering that we'll hopefully get to touch on today will show how it can actually support the paperless environment.
And when you say about the amount of energy wasted there, Elyshia, do you have anything that to sort of back that up?
Yeah, of course. So if I do believe, if I've got my statistics correct, it was approximately 8,000 units of energy that are used to dispose of just that single piece of paper, which, that's a lot. That's making a huge environmental impact. Huge.
Yeah, especially if you're printing thousands of bits of paper every day and disposing of thousands of bits of paper every day. And
even if you're not disposing of them, you're then storing them, which,
and that goes on to my next point, Elyshia. So, it's almost like you read my mind or that we prepped this beforehand. But talk to me about, the reduction in paper storage. Talk to me a bit more about that. How's that impacting and, providing that step towards that, not only a paperless office, but, the drive towards net zero.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you've got a variance of things here. So first up, you've got the cost of the paper storage for as long as you are printing these documents off. They're also at risk of fire, floods, damage, losing them. There is lots of problems that could happen with having these paper documents. There's lots of efficiencies that we can offer with having them actually stored safe and secure on a server. I've touched briefly already on being able to view them back easily. They're all safe, secure, and also HMRC compliant regarding the storage of those documents. You know how, like, some documents you have to keep for 6-7 years? You can actually lock them down so they will be there for that period of time. So there's no risk of human error, of them being lost, removed, or anything like that.
So what we're really talking about here is we're embracing organizations, or helping organizations embrace the fact that, okay, there's this need to drive towards net zero, but here's the complications when moving away from a paper environment, and here's how Draycir are solving that issue. If I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. A key place where we see the efficiencies being driven is things like purchase invoices. Quite often they will receive them via email, print them off, and then they'll go to, Fred's desk to be signed, and then they'll go to Angela's. By the time it comes back, you've got that document, you're then having to scan it back in signed, or not even scan it back in on some occasions. They're then filing it in a covered cabinet to then have to go back to later. You can't find it. The amount of time it then takes to locate it. And actually, we've got a legal obligation to keep these documents safe. So, when you can actually streamline that process and be ticking all those boxes at the same time, it's a little bit of a no-brainer.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm thinking about, guys out on the road here, directors or sales guys or, engineers, and if you're storing that paper in an office, thinking of the driving they even have to do to go to the office, try and retrieve it, pick it up, take it out with them on site again, wherever they're going. There is, from an environmental perspective, to be able to offer that ability, I think quite key.
I suppose as well, even with that example, you've then removed the need of having to drive back to get the document because they've actually got it there and then, which is also helping the environment. So we're cutting down on the emissions into the environment.
100%. And also, I'll talk about when it comes to storing paper documents, and having paper documents kicking about, they can often go missing as well. So, as well as the whole drive towards net zero, you're also, having the sort of obviously environmental benefits. You're also having the benefits of eliminating documents going missing. How does describe to us how that would work?
Yeah, of course. So it depends on what documents we're handling, but anything that's coming in and out of the finance team can actually be attached with ease to Sage 200 to the actual transaction, which means anybody throughout the organisation that if they have access to Sage, they can view that document through there. But we also have a search tool, which is like a window into those documents. So that means the sales team, the receptionist, admin staff, you name it, they can view the documents that are relevant to them. In doing that, it really drives efficiencies, because actually there's none of that time spent looking for the documents. We're not bothering colleagues, asking them for where this might be. We're not even spending time searching for them. We can literally go to the relevant transaction, or we can search for the document. You know, anything to do with that document we can search on, whether that be invoice number, company name. You know, I'm touching here on invoices, but it really is any document that's in or out of the organisation. A good example, another one, is our picking lists. You know, we can send them down to the warehouse. They can do their picking. We can then actually scan that straight back in, and that will be automatically attached to the relevant transaction. There's been no time spent scanning it in, and also then no time spent looking for it afterwards, because all we need to do is search on that document number, company name, picking list, something we know that's linked to it, and we can find it again with ease. There is no time spent searching.
Brilliant, brilliant. So when it comes to, the impact of, the users, so that whether it be in a finance function or an operational function,
Yeah.
the biggest concern towards going, digital and removing those paper documents from the office, in terms of, physical paper-based or writing down, not only is it a mindset and culture shift, but there's also a fear, and that comes down to having the right reporting, the right data, and the right security. So you touched on it a bit earlier. A lot of compliance involved here, but how do we? I'm touching on the fact that the output of the report from the Sage CEO Steve Hurd produced with ACCA and the ICC, International Chamber of Commerce, mentions about, financial, directors, having a key area on green reporting and, data and security. How's Draycir Solutions going to be, sort of supporting this in terms of the document management, automation, and those key outputs the business would need?
Yeah, okay, good question. So as you rightly said there is so many, it's all out there of what we could be doing, what we should be doing, but then how do you actually do that and put it into practice? With the different solutions we offer, here today we're focusing on the document management piece, and that helps towards, yes, it's HMRC compliant, everything's safe and secure, and it is all about that safety and security and knowing that everything is compliant and that we're ticking all of those boxes. By making these small changes, we could all have a huge impact. At the moment, there's a big focus on large organisations. As we've seen with everything else that's been brought in the last 10, 15 years, it starts there and then it goes down to SMBs. So we know that the focus is going to shift, even heavier on this market very soon. We can make loads of steps to be moving in the right direction. If we each do those little steps, the impact will be massive. You're right on the reporting side of things. So, we've got the reports within Sage 200 that is offered. We've got report schedulers that can ensure they're running as and when they're required. All of our data, we can view it back later. It's safe, it's secure, it's much safer than it's ever going to be in paper formats anywhere. We've got the opportunity here, and I think we need to take it and really make these changes.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Elyshia, I do really appreciate that feedback. And what's interesting for me is at the moment, this is all great and talking about it, but the proof is in the pudding. So maybe, this could be sort of your chance before we come back to, next steps and course of action here. Would you be able to share your screen at this stage and just give us a whiz through some of the sort of high-level overview of the Draycir solution at this stage, Elyshia?
Yeah, of course. I'll just get that open. Won't be a moment, Johnny. PC's on a little bit of a go slow this morning due to the storm that we're in, which I think isn't causing too much interference at present, which is good. So I'll get my screen being shared and we'll have a quick look at how we can make these changes.
Yep.
I think what we'll do to start with is we'll take a quick look at the solution in regards to the processing of purchase invoices. So we receive our purchase invoices and we get them via email. And then quite often companies are then printing them off and spending time putting them onto somebody else's desk, adding all those signatures, misplacing that document. Well, now actually this message can come straight into your inbox, advise you that you've got an invoice needing your approval, and everything that you need is straight visible. You've got a copy of the relevant invoice. You've got all of the information, whether that be the purchase order, nominal data. You know, for the invoice to have got to this point, it's been through the software. We've not had to manually touch it necessarily. If it's wanted us to confirm something, we've popped in and done so. But now we're at that next stage where now we need our approvers to add their signatures. And here's an example of where that's happened. So it's popped into their inbox. There's an app that they could do this on as well. And we can see then that we've got everything in regards to this particular purchase invoice and this transaction. And the user can simply reject or approve. What we've had to do here is spend no time finding the documents, no time checking it against the purchase order or ensuring everything aligns, because it shows it is all here. And then we can approve and reject, and that flows straight back into Sage 200. One, the transaction, but two, that document is now archived and safe and secure for the number of years that we need it. I know you've got quite a few customers that are looking at this solution at the moment in order to be able to drive their efficiencies with their purchase invoices. But it's not just purchase invoices that we can look to, or that process we can look to improve. If we actually pop into Sage 200 very quickly now, we can see how we can really quickly attach a document. If we just go to my sales order list, I'll hopefully have a Blue Peter moment, and here's one I made earlier. And we can simply show that functionality of adding an additional document to the transaction. So you can see now, here is me within the transaction in Sage, and we've got this little lovely drop-down button here. From here, we can attach any relevant document we need. Because of the area of Sage 200 I'm in, it will assume what that document type may be. We can browse to that document if we wanted. If we've got it in an email, we can drag and drop it over. Let's see if we've got one we can browse to. Won't be a moment, thought my emails were open. Once this is opened up, we'll literally just drag and drop the relevant document over. So here's an example of one, and we just drag and drop. This document will then be attached to that transaction. We can view it back later. Again, because of the area I'm in, it assumes what the document type is. And then we've got all of this associated data or metadata down the left-hand side. And why this is important is because during the conversation we've just been having, I touched on searching for these documents and time not being spent filing, looking for them. You know, all we need to do is hit archive. This document's now safe and secure, and we can view it back against the transaction in Sage, which is amazing for our Sage users. You can see we've got this little view button, window into our archive. We can click into here and see all the relevant documents. As this transaction goes through its sales journey, we'll actually see this grow. So at the moment, we've just got the one document attached. You know, later down the line, we'd have the picking list, we would have the delivery note. Everything that this has been through will be here in that one centralized location. So yes, we can view it back in Sage, which is amazing. But the other place that we can view the documents back, which is really handy for our non-Sage users, so perhaps those not in the finance team, and that is with the document search tool. So here is my document search tool, and all of that information that we saw on that left-hand side previously is information we can search back on. So for example, I think that one was for Abbey Logistics. So if I was to search for Abbey, we could then bring up all the relevant documents for Abbey Logistics. If we had a specific invoice number, we could search for that invoice number and it would bring back the relevant documents linked to it, or order number perhaps. Really, really quick and easy. I mean, if you weren't doing this, you'd be going, you know, looking in all the cabinets, trying to find it. Might find it on Johnny's desk with a tea stain, you know. Whereas with everything being safe and secure in this one location, it really does help efficiencies.
Brilliant, Elyshia. That's a good overview of just one example of, you know, sort of how you can eliminate, you know, paper from the environment, you know, from the business environment, I should say, you know, and you know, that's simply based on purchase invoices. You know, there's other solutions in there that, you know, like Elyshia says, it can help with, you know, picking lists, help with you know, improving your workflows, and whatever the case may be. You know, that document automation solutions, even right through to credit control, can help. But look, listen, I think half an hour is enough for these video blogs. I just wanted to put it out there today. If anyone is interested in talking to us further based on what you've heard, what you've seen, quickly, reach out to myself. I can connect you up with Elyshia. You can reach out to Elyshia directly. Elyshia will connect the dots for you and somehow, and let's have a conversation to see how we can help you achieve that paperless environment that a lot of companies are going out to try and achieve at the moment. So Elyshia, you can stop the recording. Or is there any final thoughts you want to say before we stop the recording?
No, I think that summarised it brilliantly. We only did get to touch on a couple of the points and the places where we could save time and money. But I think it's all about education, and I think this was a good start for people to see what they could be doing and how we can support them. And certainly, get in touch with Jonny or myself. Jonny's details are on the screen now, and I look forward to hopefully speaking with you all in the near future.
Thank you, Elyshia.
No problem. Thank you, Jonny.